People like me. 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 People like me.
Welcome. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to More Than Barbers. Today we have a special edition. It's going to be a whole interview in English. Sometimes we're going to drop some Spanish right there. Also, our guest can drop some bombs in Spanish too. So let's
Not
see.
in Spanish.
Not in Spanish.
My Spanish is not too pretty good looking.
No, so let's see what is going on. This event today, this interview is going to be sponsored by Haiti Monkey. This is the people that is behind this today. They're supporting us a lot and help us to get up there to the Connecticut CT Expo in conjunction with our guest today. And we have not a different crew, but we have some crew members that you gonna be happy to see right here. So that means that I'm gonna need to introduce you. So there is our Henny's around here, man.
What's up, guys? It's good to be back. Good to see you guys. We're gonna bring you a good content today with a very special guest today. So stay tuned for that.
There you go, and that you got the black made the most shine. That's an English.
That's me. I'm ready.
Good. And also we had the spicy guy. Yes, that's right. I got on his Spanish today. And how you say Gucci in English?
Gucci, man. Gucci, man.
Gucci, whatever.
Gucci, man. So that's Gucci around here. And ladies and gentlemen, and this guy, this person right here that we had today, we're so happy about it. We're so excited about the type of interview that we're going to bring out there today. From humble beginnings in Connecticut to the giant that he just became, we're going to give you today the J Major that everybody wants to know. Ladies and gentlemen, J Major.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
So, Jay, immediately, I'm going to jump into a few questions that I have on my mind.
Yeah.
And I want to know, what was that breaking point that make you think that you can build something bigger than just a normal barbershop? And you came out with this Connecticut CT Expo.
It really wasn't a breaking point. Like, I think a lot of people, I didn't know that it was going to be as successful. I used to do nightclub promotions, and I was cutting a lot of artists, like a reggaeton artist, Farruko, when he first came on the scene.
All right.
Tony Dice, Don Chesina, like old school reggaeton artists.
Man.
Yeah, like way back, yeah. And I would do nightclub events, but one night at one of my events, somebody got beat up pretty bad. I didn't know the guy. It was a fight. You know, in nightclubs, unfortunately, there's a lot of violence.
Yeah, a lot of violence.
And my attorney's like, he called me, and on the flyer, it said Major League Barber Shop and the Barber Academy, because I own a barber school, and the name of my shop is Major League. And he said, listen, if somebody gets killed at one of these nightclub parties, your name's all over this.
Oh, wow.
You should double think about this career, because you're a member, you're a pillar in the community. People respect you, but if there's somebody that gets hurt. So I was like, you know what, maybe if I should just tone it down and do like industry events for the hair industry. I'm going to start doing, like I did a hair show where everyone came with the haircut pre-done. Nice. And it was good. But then I was like, let me do a competition. Because, you know, barbers are competitive, especially the Latino barber shops. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm better than this guy. I'm better than that guy.
We talk about that right here a lot. We talk about that right here, about that. Barbers are, you know, they compete a lot between them. You know,
of course.
Even when they work together.
Yeah.
You know, that's...
there's nothing wrong with healthy competition. You know?
Healthy. That's the word. Healthy.
Unfortunately, there's no healthy competition.
You know, I believe together...
Envy is crazy.
If it shows that what the Connecticut Barber Expo has done for the industry globally... You know, and certain, especially Massachusetts, like the tri-state area, working together is a lot better than competing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I compete with me every day.
So
that's my toughest competition.
So that's you. That's what you always been doing. You know, like competing against you. I can say that maybe that's what lead you where you are right now.
I mean, yeah, 100%. And coming from nothing, man. Like, you know, for those of people that know my story, like I came out of prison. And I had a taped up pair of Wall Seniors that somebody donated me. I had nothing.
What year are we talking about?
This was 2004. 2005, 2004.
Wow.
And like my family, I burned a lot of bridges. I was in and out of jail, and I learned how to cut in jail. And they were like, "You can't come to my house."
Wow.
So I was renting a chair in a rooming house for $100 a week, and I was doing $7 haircuts in all the halfway houses.
Wow.
Yeah, and taking 3 buses to work every day.
That's you hear that? That's humble beginnings. Also, a little bit of struggle.
It's motivation for everybody.
So what made you like, as far as like coming out of prison and all of that? What was like I want to say, like, what made you like open up your own barbershop? What hit you that you were like, you know what, I'm gonna just hit it. You know what I mean? I
mean, listen, as an entrepreneur, there's no better entrepreneur than like, and no, this is a positive podcast, but I saw that's an entrepreneur, a very dangerous entrepreneurial program.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I believe what you learn from the streets, you could take it into corporate America and be very successful because you learn different personalities. You learn how people operate. You learn who you could trust, who you can't trust. I was like this. I'm going to give this barbering my all because this is all I have. I remember sitting in prison, and the day, like 3 months before I was released, I had all this commissary. For those of you that never been in jail, commissaries, soup, honey buns, all this. And I have all these, everyone thinks they're Tony Montana, and I'm a barber, and I got more food than everybody.
Yeah.
So I said, why do I not try taking this barbering serious when I get on the streets? And I did.
Where you learn how to cut hair?
In jail.
In jail.
In jail.
So you came out of the jail like doing a perfect fade?
That was all right. Listen, guys, I'm okay at cutting hair.
I'm
not the best barber in the world.
Yeah.
But I'm a good businessman.
You're consistent.
There we go.
I know barbers that could cut hair. Like, oh, he's the best barber. But he's late. He drops off his baby mama at Bank of America, comes to work, smelling like weed, wearing chancletas and Nike shorts. And he's wondering why he's only making $400 a week because he leaves on a 2-hour lunch break.
Oh, yeah.
You know that guy, but he's nasty. He give you the best haircut when he's there.
Eso para que ustedes vean.
That's discipline.
Eso para que ustedes vean.
We use in the jail for the haircuts.
For the hair, what was I using? Oh, Norelco beard trimmers and a razor and a comb.
Razor and a comb. That's pretty much what they use in jail.
You're the real barber.
I should have went back to jail. I should have got locked up for the haircuts I was given in the beginning.
Yeah, because you're starting, you're starting in jail. But all right, I hear that, I don't know if it's true, that when you're in jail and let's say you work as a barber, you get money, but you don't get like crazy amount of money.
I was getting so when I got the barber job in jail, I was getting $17.50 every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Oh my god! And how many people?
But then I would make side money.
You get the commissary and all that.
So I would charge $1.50 a haircut.
Like
it's probably $3 now.
When I did my time, I cut for like commissary.
Yeah, $1.50.
17 is a lot of money. So
$17.50 every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
I know. Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks.
That's what I'm saying.
No,
That's what I'm saying.
It's
That's what I'm saying.
Not for people every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Jay
Over
May
there though, it's a lot of money.
Yeah, over there is a lot of money.
So Jay May is coming out of jail. What did Jay May had to unlearn in order to be successful on his new goal, his new path?
I think a lot of people want to be celebrity barbers, but they don't realize how that person that's sitting in their chair every week's a local celebrity. You have the banker that might work at Bank of America.
There we go.
You have the realtor that sells property.
Yeah.
You might have a lawyer. You might have a DJ that's going to shout you out at every event.
Oh, yeah.
I built relationships with people that could. I didn't know anything. Like, I knew the streets, and I knew about how to build relationships, but I didn't know how to balance a checkbook.
Yeah.
I didn't know real business, and I would talk to these guys rather than talk about P. Diddy.
Yeah.
Or LeBron or the last football game. I would talk about, hey, how do I get my credit score better? How much do I need to put down on a house? How much do I have to pay in taxes every year? Do you know a good accountant?
Yeah.
Like, these are the conversations I have. When you don't know who sits in your chair.
Wow.
That's why I hate when I see a barber with headphones on, not talking.
I hate that.
I hate that shit, man.
I hate
How
that.
do you know? So I would talk to these people. They give me, if it wasn't for my clients, I would be Jay Miners. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't for my clients, I wouldn't be the man I am today.
Yeah, you're the type of guy that you respect people time.
100%.
You network a lot.
Yeah,
especially with
you network a lot because you go to CT Expo, there you have the opportunity to build like strong and bigger connections.
Yeah, any expo, you never know who's there. you
Yeah,
know
but
what
I mean, we can tell that this is the biggest expo of barbering in the world.
yeah, thank God. Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
blessed
it
for
is. You see, it's the biggest one.
that. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Like we're in Massachusetts right now. Massachusetts is my biggest supporter.
Oh wow,
More tickets from Massachusetts than any other state.
There we go. You see, I always say, I don't know if this is true, but I hear that you say on one competition that was on Lawrence a few months ago,
Yeah.
last year,
Yeah.
that you say, I don't know if that's true, that best barbers in, you know, a lot of good barbers in USA, but one of the best barbers that you know, or a lot of good barbers that you know, are in Massachusetts.
Massachusetts,
that.
there's very talented barbers in Massachusetts.
That's what
yeah,
I'm
very,
saying.
very
Right here,
talented.
I say on the show normally every day, you know, there is a lot of talent right here in
Yeah.
Massachusetts, but
Texas, there's some
I
phenomenal
think
barbers.
I think they don't expose their job out there. What you think about that? Because we've been talking before we start the interview about that the people can submit their videos to participate on the Grammys
Yeah.
on your event, but they don't do it a lot.
Do it. They don't have to
What
have
is
the
going
knowledge.
on?
I
What
think
can you tell
people.
to those people? out
I
there?
think people are scared to lose. You know, I think
Oh,
there's a pride. But let's look at it like this: how many followers you have on Instagram?
I have a lot of followers, like 5,000.
5,000.
Yes.
So if you have 5,000 followers and you submit a video, and now my page is posting your video in your Instagram every day,
Yeah.
and then you make it to the next round, and now we're posting you more. Now you have a bunch of people listening to your story, whether you win or lose. That's very important.
winning.
Because
That's exposure.
You're still winning.
It's
You're
exposure.
You're just marketing yourself.
Barbers have some stories, man.
Yeah.
There's barbers with autistic children. There's barbers that, there's barbers that've been kidnapped. There's barbers that've been homeless. You know, a lot of us, we didn't come from families that were, I don't know about you, but doctors and lawyers. We became a barber because we had to.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
a lot of I have an 8th grade education. Thank God I got a GED when I was incarcerated, but
Yeah.
I never passed the 9th grade.
Yeah, I got a
Wow.
GED when I was in 2015.
That's
You understand what I'm saying? So it's like we're in a profession where, and unfortunately it shows with the unprofessionalism, once you start adding, treating your business like a business,
yeah.
that's when you're going to be seeing the real benefits of this industry.
Yeah, but how do you came straight? It's still bouncing in my head. How do you came out of jail like that? You know, we talk about that,
Yeah.
but you see yourself as a businessman, or you see yourself as a visionary man that you see ahead of what you living right now.
This is God, man.
That's
Wow.
Like,
That's
listen,
Point blank.
no, because like I shouldn't be where I'm. And
I
I
mean,
hear
you
trolls.
work hard because you
I-
work hard for that.
But you reap what you sow. They talk about that in the
Yeah,
Bible.
yeah.
You know, I'm not being religious. I'm being spiritual, and I could tell you that what I'm doing is magical.
Yeah.
And you could take like when you're in that show, the energy, you feel it. Am I right
yeah,
or wrong?
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
yeah.
it's true. Yeah,
You feel
That's
it.
crazy.
you feel it.
And I was chosen for this. Like I didn't. I do my show in the middle of the woods in Uncasville, Connecticut.
Wow.
And people fly from China, Brazil.
That's what I'm saying.
It,
You
like-
know,
Yeah,
it's
that's
insane.
true.
And-
Everywhere.
That's not me. Yeah, I work hard. But number one, it's you. You guys are supporters.
Yeah,
It's every single person that puts their whether they buy a ticket or they have a videographer. It's a group collaboration.
yeah.
But sometimes I pinch myself when I've been flown to Russia, to Spain, to
Yeah,
Portugal.
it's-
I'm looking out the window.
You can't believe it.
And
What
the
I
people-
am right
and the
now,
people
right?
love that.
And guess what? Like I'm here because I'm one bad decision away from losing everything. We all are.
Yeah.
We all are.
yeah.
You could have too many drinks one night and you get in your car.
Yeah.
What could happen?
Definitely.
You could kill somebody. You
Kill
could.
somebody.
So we have to keep that in our mind that we're all one bad decision away from losing everything.
Yeah.
And I know what it's like to have nothing, and I know what it's like to struggle, and I don't ever want to go back there.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
hearing you just mention all that, what is the sacrifice that Jay Majors make that nobody knows about?
I mean, I love my family, but the hours and the hours and the hours that I'm away from my family, and
Balance.
I always say there's no such thing as an entrepreneur. If you have balance, you're not an entrepreneur.
It's true.
But what?
Until you really made it, then
yeah,
you could have.
until you really made it.
When it, and I always do this analogy. You look at the scales of life, right? A triple beam. And if you're like this, maybe you work somewhere full time. You work at a bank, you work at a bakery,
Yeah.
you go to work, you come home, you do the same thing every day.
Yeah.
But as an entrepreneur, some days you're like this,
And some days, yeah.
some days you're like that.
Yeah, that's true.
So I had to communicate with my family and say, hey, this is show season. Daddy's in Massachusetts. I'm in New Hampshire. I'm in Florida. I'm here.
Yeah.
And my family's here.
Wow.
And I got to FaceTime them or whatever.
Okay.
But then when the show's over, it's family. We're in Aruba.
Yeah.
We're in Italy. We're on a cruise. What sneakers do you want?
Wow.
And I have to learn to
Balance.
it's not really balance. It's just like you have to communicate with your family.
Yeah, definitely.
Like I told my son,
Definitely.
I said, hey, have I been giving you enough attention? Like, have I been
So do you asking that question
to my
exactly
son
like that?
Yeah, like, hey, do you want me to slow down from traveling?
Oh wow.
And that's hard.
I
sometimes
asked my
because
son
they
that.
don't
Wow.
understand sometimes.
So what keep you awake overnight as a businessman then?
What?
What keep you awake? Like pretty much when you
Stress? No, I'm just, no. Like, it's not that. It's
because you work the whole year because the
yeah,
okay the
Connecticut,
expo-
then Vegas.
yeah,
and then,
that's the thing. You work the whole year.
Yeah,
I mean,
I find balance. Like I could do a lot of work from home, so I'm present in the household.
nice.
I know I own schools as well. I own a school. I own suites. I own a lot of real estate. I do real estate development. But I'm looking at it like this. I'm doing this to leave my children a legacy.
oh yeah.
Like when my father passed away, I had to pay for his funeral.
Wow.
I had to pay off his house. I had to pay off his car.
Wow.
So it's just like I want to break that curse.
You don't want that.
Wow.
I want to be the first generation in my bloodline to at least leave my family. And a couple of my uncles did, but my parents came here as immigrants from Portugal, and they started with nothing. My father didn't have big of an education. He did his best. He taught me a work ethic.
Yeah.
And I was able to give
That's what
him-
you apply because
Yeah.
I think that's what lead you there. But there's also one more question that I want to ask you. That when you start building this giant on the industry, that's what we're gonna call it. That's what it is. There was people that doubt about you, about that you gonna make it.
all the time. Still to this day, they're dying on they're praying for my downfall.
Wow, man.
Did you see that post I put that like the fake that I pistol whipped somebody?
Yeah.
I got 1 million views.
Yeah.
Everybody talks about.
But when I post my son's birthday party, I get 600 views.
Wow.
it.
Yeah. That's social media these days. That's what attract people. Like
Yeah, I
funny
guess.
stuff, fun
Negativity,
stuff. Your
man.
bad negativity. But
Yeah.
even that's why you say before that a lot of barbers are afraid to lose. But what I think is like when you post like a good job out there, a good cut that you do clean, and you spend that money paying videographers and all that stuff, you don't get the support that you get when you post somebody that you scratch on a motorcycle.
Yeah.
You
It's
don't
sad.
get that. Or
Not
somebody
even,
doing-
I mean,
not
that's
even that.
society.
Not even that, Junior. If you see, when you post something and you don't do a good haircut, though, there's a lot of people.
oh yeah.
Already hating.
There's a lot of hate in the the comments.
Yeah, but what do you think about like the industry now, the way it's going with all these like enhancements and all this makeup and all this stuff? Like, what do you really think about that?
I mean, I'm not
In all
big.
honesty.
Like with the competitions and stuff, I'm not a big fan of the makeup. The people that aren't in our industry love it. Like the spectators, I hate to take people's creativity away because it is what it is. What I could tell you is that the men's grooming industry is a multi-billion-dollar industry,
Oh, yeah.
right? I don't. If you're charging extra for enhancements and stuff, you're supposed to. You're supposed to make more money.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem is, barbers aren't selling enough products.
Oh, they not selling enough products.
They're not. When you go to cosmetology, when my wife gets her hair done, she pays $250 for color. She's leaving with a conditioner. She's leaving with a shampoo, with a hair gloss,
Yeah.
and she's rebooking.
Oh, wow.
Barbers come, they just leave and say, take their hair.
That's the business mentality over there. That's what you got. That's
your
what the barber
bills-
system plan.
Retail should be paying 30% of your annual income. 30%.
That's,
You used
that's
to
what
do
I
that. You do
always
that.
say. That.
30%.
I remember.
You should be able to pay booth rent with just selling pomade.
Yeah.
With one
Yeah.
product.
I
Just your booth
remember
rent.
probably 6 years ago when I was in the expo and you mentioned that every square inch of your business should be
Every
making
square
you money.
inch. every square
And
inch.
since that day, I stuck to my head, and I can never get it out.
So
Always.
So that's gonna come to my mind right now because this is, I mean, we're right here doing this interview in English. We have an audience that is in Spanish, but listen, this comes to my mind now right now. Do you think that barbers are more focused on being famous than being businessmen right now?
I mean, 100%. I think
It is. You see?
I think a lot of people want to be famous. Like,
Yeah, but business bring you money.
Yeah, but they're deviating from like the
But
bar.
let me tell you something. Once you have money, you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You get like, it's crazy. Like, money buys you comfort,
Yes.
right? Money makes things easier. You know that if your car breaks down, you could fix it.
Yeah.
You know that if you have a little issue, you can afford a lawyer.
Yeah.
You know if your heater breaks down at home, you could fix it.
Yeah.
Okay? I think a lot of barbers, and let's say when it goes to these hair shows, if you're not fully booked and you like really can't afford to be flying to all these shows, you have to pick and choose your shows.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
I've seen barbers lose their career trying to be famous for me or famous for you,
Yeah.
but they're not even famous in their neighborhood yet.
Yeah, that's true.
They're booked on Fridays and Saturdays. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday they can't fill their chair. Thursdays they got 7 people and they're spending thousands of dollars to fly to these events. Now, if you do go to this event, at least make sure you get some education on what you're doing wrong and talk to some of your mentors on how to fill that chair. You know,
So do you think that the barber industry is taking to the north that it's gonna be a lot of money on barber industry? It is already, you know, but it's a lot
Yeah.
of money on it. But because right now a clipper costs you $300, you know,
Yeah.
it's not like before that you
Yeah.
paid 75 or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
But you need to invest a lot of money to be a barber too.
yeah. I mean, you have to invest. I believe that barbers should invest in themselves more.
On
Like for-
themselves, you said the image.
Just period. Like there's these classes called Toastmasters where you could take public speaking classes. There's financial literacy classes. I could cut hair if I was cutting hair with a beard trimmer. Look, everyone in this room, I could give you an old clipper and a razor and a cheap pair of scissors,
I can make it the same.
and it is almost going to be the same as a $400 clipper.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
I know barbers that have more clippers than clients. You know,
That's a good one
they
right
buy
there.
every clipper. I gotta buy this. I gotta buy that.
And you recommend for everybody save money and buy every machine.
I mean, like I believe we're all. You get as a barber, you get paid for your time.
Yeah.
In the beginning of your career, I'm gonna tell you what I'm seeing right now. The worst thing in the barbering industry is barbers that get hired fresh out of school try to work the same hours as the owners and the veterans barbers.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to work part-time. Oh, I only want to work on the weekends. Oh, I work at FedEx during the morning and at night. Like, you know what that tells me? And this is a bomb. This is a truth bomb.
Okay.
You know the button.
That's the button right there. Bomb.
Yeah.
Gucci got
No. This is what I want to say. If you have to go clock in for another man at 7 o'clock in the morning to make $18, $20, $22 an hour,
Oh my God. Here we go.
you can't make it to the barber shop at 9 in the morning to possibly make $60, $70, $80 an hour
Yeah.
because you're not disciplined enough to be your own boss, but you could go clock in
Wow.
for Jonathan, the manager,
And you pay more.
and you're getting paid less money,
Yeah.
but you're saying, oh, it's a steady paycheck because, you know, at least I'm getting a steady paycheck.
That's what I hear about all the time.
Bro, this is not a part-time profession. This is a full-time job. Full-time
That's-
job. There's like, unless you're getting the best benefits in the world, 401k, $65, $70 an hour, and you're working a couple days a week, I'd understand.
good, yeah.
But I have met doctors, barbers that make just as much money as like chiropractors and just as much money as some low-budget lawyers.
Wow.
And so that tells me you don't have enough faith in your hustle and your grind that you have to clock in for somebody part-time instead of clocking in for yourself every day. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Eso para que ustedes vean que
You know-
póngase la pila.
And you know the barbers say every time, oh, I
Pónganse la
pay too
pila.
hungry. I don't want to go for a UR, you know, like,
Yeah.
I want to go to
No, es que los barberos,
11,
oye,
12.
oye lo que él está diciendo, y se lo va a decir en
He's gonna
español,
translate it.
porque hay muchos
Yeah,
barberos que
díselo
están
bien,
haciendo
díselo
esto,
bien.
haciendo Uber. No estoy diciendo.
What happened to the Uber? You have a problem with that?
No, déjame decirte.
Pero tiene que
If you're
dedicarle más
Ubering
tiempo a
at
la
night,
barbería.
I don't mind. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock.
Uber
at
at
night.
night, right? To get more money, right?
Oye, ¿qué es lo que pasa? Que muchos barberos que entran nuevos,
A lot of new barbers.
como
right?
que se le hace difícil.
Pierden la
conseguir
motivación.
clientes, y va, entonces lo que hacen es que se van a trabajar a 19 pesos, a 20 pesos.
Okay. So
Y no están pensando que están ganando menos, coloqueando allí, en vez de venir para la barbería a las 9, irse a las 9.
So let's
Y ponerle la disciplina.
But they could be at Home Depot at 7.
There we go. There we go. That's the
Entonces,
thing. They can be there.
Bárbaro. Ponte
But
la
you're
pila.
your own boss.
What you think? It's about discipline,
It's
Business.
it's self-discipline.
self-discipline, not
Determination.
discipline.
If J majors don't get up and work every day, J majors don't get paid.
That's true. Oh wow.
Point blank.
Yeah, we don't get paid if we don't
Point
work.
blank. I don't clock in for nobody.
Yeah.
And these barbers think that like they don't give out business cards anymore.
Nope.
They Facebook or Instagram. Your abuela's watching your Instagram. No one's following you.
That's true. That's
You
true.
know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Like still old school ways of handing out flyers still work. You know,
So it's
and posters, business cards.
You are one believer that this flyers and giving people
A little
cards
bit.
still working.
I mean, a business card still works.
It still works.
A business card still works. Like I always use this. Like when you go to Home Depot between 7 and 10 o'clock in the morning, there's plumbers, there's carpenters, there's sheetrockers. These are all guys that have no time but
Yeah.
need haircuts.
Yeah.
If you go there at Home Depot and walk there with your barber jacket on with 150 business cards and say, "Hey, Jonathan the plumber, I know you're a busy guy.
Yeah.
I do appointments only. There's an app on there. You can book an appointment. I get you in and out. You go back to work."
Thank you so much. I got tomorrow for Home Depot. That's all.
Yo, there's nothing but men in Home Depot from 7 and 10 o'clock in the
that
morning
is
that
true.
need
I
haircuts.
want my
I mean,
clip.
anywhere. You
All
go
right,
anywhere.
so
you
that-
go out to a supermarket, you go anywhere, you're going to find people. You know?
But here's the thing: it's just like, oh, I don't want to go up. We're in a society where people are like, oh, I don't want to go up to a stranger unless they want to troll them on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, we
but
get strangers
so
every
you
day
think-
as like walking. So what's the difference?
So you think the interaction barber client or barber new client that you possibly gonna get, we shouldn't be missing, because I think we're missing that right now with social media. We start missing like the interaction with going out there and giving a card, or talk to somebody.
I mean, and even if just everywhere you go to a gas station, like if someone's pumping gas next to me, I give them a card. I don't cut hair anymore. I still give them a flyer from my barber shop.
Wow.
Like I still, no matter what, in my gym, I'll leave flyers for my barber shop in the bathroom in my gym.
How long has it been since you cut somebody?
Oh, I cut my sons and stuff. I cut hair for a Babyless video shoot a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
I cut if I have to. You know what I mean?
He loves the barber studio though. How I know he have a barber studio in his room though.
In my house.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, in my house.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like a custom
And now that they-
$5,000 chair.
Wow.
It's like my shrine. So
That's
Oh,
for you. That's like
wait.
your personal-
We talk right here about the chair. You said there is no chair that costs $5,000. Look at right there right now.
First
Mine was
off,
$50.
First off, nothing.
it was more. I paid $5,000.
Oh, look at that.
Hold on. First off, I never said that.
What?
I never said that I didn't know or that I didn't believe there was chairs. I know there's chairs that cost 20, 25
I got a
grand, 30 grand.
19.
Bro,
I
Listen.
said I'm not paying.
What you got? A 19?
I got a 1921 Koken chair.
Wow.
Yeah.
Re-chromed. The porcelain's been powder coated, completely built by Mr. B's, delivered to my house. But so what it is I have a 2-floor master bedroom.
Yeah.
So when I overlook, I live like on a hill. So when I overlook, I could have done anything in the laundry room, but I have the barber poles as my lights, and I have to me that shows every morning that barbering bought me that house.
Wow, man. That's
my shrine.
Wow,
yeah,
man.
that's like my like.
That's
I
a
can-
bomb.
Yeah.
How do you come up
It's a bomb.
for idea for have a barber studio in your room though?
Es lo que te
Ma-
está diciendo ahora mismo,
That's only for
eso es lo que él está diciendo, que le dio
It's
como
like personal
la idea de eso, enseñar a él que la barbería fue lo que le compró esa
Lo que
casa.
lo llevó allá.
It's furniture. It's like you know how when you go to a lot. You know when you go to Abuela's house, she has the furniture with the plastic you can't sit on.
Yeah.
That's my house. That's what I got.
Definitely. So,
Él dice que su habitación está arriba, entonces cuando él mira,
el barber
él
studio
ve
estaba
el
See that
barber
on the
studio, eso es
bottom.
lo que
yeah.
recuerda.
So, a question comes to my mind immediately too, because I seen you implementing the studio. I don't know how is the business
suites
that you
and
have.
that shit, yeah.
The suites. I want you to talk about this right here, because me
Yeah, how does that work out for
personally,
you, man?
I know that works. I think. Oh no, I know because I didn't have it, but I think that works. You know, being your.
I'll be real with you. This is very sad, but I feel as if today's generation is hard for people to work together.
It is.
Yeah.
Like when I have students fill out an application to my barber school,
Yeah.
they don't know how to sign their name. They don't know how to talk to me. They only text me.
Wow.
They have a communication problem because they were raised by an iPad.
Oh yeah.
We were raised
Yeah.
hopping fences,
Yeah.
playing baseball, whatever,
Staying out.
riding your bike, fighting each other.
Yeah.
But I bought a building right before COVID, and it has 8 apartments upstairs, and it was a dental office, and the dental office had plumbing in every room. So I'm like, this is genius. I wasn't gonna turn it into a barbershop, and let me turn it into suites. And this was during COVID,
During COVID.
and people wanted to be, 6 feet apart.
yeah.
So I built my first suites, and literally I have like a 1-year waiting list to get a chair in this
Wow.
suite right now.
Wow. And what do you
crazy.
charge as far as like booth rent
A share,
or like per like suite?
it's $300 to $325 per one-man suite, depending if they have a shampoo bowl in every suite.
And that's weekly or that's monthly?
Weekly. And then I have 2-man suites that are $500 and $550. And then because I have a school, I have a 4-chair barbershop in front of each one of my suites.
Yeah.
So a student could start in a barbershop, build up enough clients, move to a suite when someone moves out, and it's called a vertical operation.
Okay.
I have the school. If I like you, I hire you. I put you in a barbershop. When you go from the barbershop, you go to the suite. When you go to the suite, you open your own shop, and I just keep doing it and doing it and doing it. It's like and it's funny because I have people say, "Oh, he's a culture vulture. He does these expos." Like my whole world revolves around barbering. From my school to my shop to my suites to the Barber Expos to working for Squire to working for Babyliss for 10 years, my whole world revolves around barbering.
So what growth mean for you beyond money and fame?
The beauty about, I believe the reason I'm blessed is because my show's helping others.
Yeah.
My show's building brands. My show's building relationships. My show's, when you are helping others in life, you're going to get rewarded, period.
That's always. It's always like that, you know.
So like I just want to leave a legacy, you know. I think I've already did that in my state to do the biggest barber event in the world.
Oh yeah, definitely.
To my state. You know, you're never going to be a prophet in your hometown. Mm-hmm. You know, it is what it is.
It's a big goal, though.
I know. I don't see you a lot like being on social media. Like I see you active in your Instagram, but let's say, I think one of the first time, you know, you came to the show, but you told me that you don't go to a lot of shows, you know, to like stuff like this, like podcasts and stuff like that. You know, you don't go, but I think you should go because you know why? You're doing something great for this industry, man. You did something that everybody, it put people together, man.
And it brings awareness too.
It brings to learn a lot of knowledge that you get on that expo. I know about the expo because of him, because he, you know, the first time I met him, you know,
everybody want to be there.
Yeah, everybody want to be there now. And around here, when I go around and I ask people, sometimes they don't know your name. And it's like they don't know you, but they know the expo.
Yeah.
So,
no, and I feel you. The thing is like there's a saying, don't trip over pennies don't trip over quarters to pick up pennies.
Yeah.
Like I could be doing, with all respect, you guys have a good platform now. You're working on your platform. But a lot of times, like Bobo the Barber has 7 followers and 6 viewers, and he wants me to go on a podcast.
Yeah.
I'm not going to waste my time. I could go on Instagram Live and talk to more people.
That's true. That's
so
true.
it's just like they actually want me to be on the podcast to build their platform.
Yeah. Exactly.
They don't want to pay me.
Yeah.
They don't want to, and time is money. Like, unfortunately, time is money. Hours away from, you know, my house to be on a podcast, you know, and I try to do my best, but like I said, I'd rather spend 3 hours with my son than to go to some guy's podcast. And let me tell you something. I hope you guys keep going.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going, definitely.
Because I've been on podcasts that, oh man, I gave up. You know, the pods. It's a lot of work. You know that podcasts are a lot of work.
Yeah, it is a lot of work.
A lot of work and for a little money.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, like, I go on a podcast and they do good for a year and then they give up.
Yeah.
I had haters from Florida that had a podcast. They had all types of shit. Oh, about CT Barber Expo, CT Barber Expo. Where's your podcast, bro?
Yeah.
Where you at? Where's your podcast?
Nowhere.
You know who you are. I'm not going to blow up your spot. You know who you are. Boom. But they had a lot to say about my show. And, mira lo de Barber Grammy. ¿Qué te pasa de Grammy? You know? And what happened? You're probably working at Home Depot now.
Oh, my goodness. All right, we got Flaco around here. Just join
Flaco.
join
How
the
you
crew.
doing, sir? Everything
Flaco.
all right? They
Good,
treat
good,
you
good.
good today?
Yeah, these are my boys. They're good.
Okay, let's do this.
They brought me the fake salami though, not the real salami with the
Ah, the
queso
fake one?
frito. They brought me the stuff.
the little one.
Stoppy chop. I want sitang. I don't want stoppy chop.
I have a question for you, sir. Do you consider to perform in Expo Barber Show in another state? Like, you thinking that you are one of the Expo Barber here in Massachusetts, the most popular here in USA?
I mean, I'm in here. I'm in Vegas.
In
I'm
Vegas.
thinking about.
In Vegas?
I'm thinking about Tampa. The problem is like Massachusetts already comes to my show so many. It's an hour drive.
Yeah.
So it's like taking money from my right pocket, put it to my left pocket.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know the amount of work that I have to do a show here and maybe make $30,000-$40,000 is. I'd rather just do it once a year in Connecticut. You know.
But it's hard in them. Is the Expo Barber is profitable
Of
for
course.
you? It's
Yeah.
profitable.
Yeah,
It's not hard to you performing an Expo Barber like that because your Expo Barber is one of the big Expo Barber here that we have here of the barber, and it's very good and interesting because in that Expo Barber you bring many tools for barbering old barber that they want to learn technique different from other barber that they literally are success in the industry. Then I want to know, and I want to review all of this outing out there that they watching this program or this show. You telling them what they expect when they standing, when they go and arrive to US Expo Barber. Now the Wisconsin now on May, no?
Yeah, May 17th.
May
May
17, 18,
Barber
and
Expo.
19. That,
What they could have found there when they just get there. What you
What's the
bring for it?
experience?
What they
What is the main purpose of the
For the
Barber
Expo
Expo?
Barber,
there,
yeah.
Whatever you want it to be, you know, like, so for instance, there's the Grammys, which you could get dressed nice. There's the education. To me, the most important is the education seminar.
yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
what we
The
talking
education seminars, there's so much knowledge to be learned, more than just the haircuts. You know, we're going to be talking about AI this year.
Yeah,
AI,
that's
see, what's
important.
that?
That's
AI,
important. That's
AI.
Oh,
important.
AI help.
We're gonna be talking about AI.
Artificial
yeah.
intelligence.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about AI. We're going to talk about Google reviews on the importance of getting your barbershops notarized in Google. We're going to be talking about stocks with one of the guys, stocks. Invest right now. Warren Buffett said this is one of the best times in the world. It's in the past 35 years to invest in the stock market. The stock market is tanked right now.
Yeah.
So us barbers don't have retirements, right?
Yeah. No, we don't.
So we have to look into some of the most successful people in the world became rich off of stocks.
Yeah.
If you buy the right stocks. Yes, it's gambling, but like, you know, there's some people in the stock market where you're guaranteed 4% unless the company goes bankrupt.
Yeah.
So you're not getting 4% to put your money in the bank right now. So we're going to be talking about, you know, possibly investing in stocks and bonds. We're going to be talking about real estate because I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you own a barbershop until you own the building.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that's true. I mean,
that's deep. That's deep.
You're renting.
If I'm your landlord and you what's the name of the barbershop?
Classic Vibes Barbershop.
So, and you own Classic Vibe Barbershop. And I've seen barbers, we're going to be talking about this too, the proper lawyer, the proper lease. I've seen barbers sign a 2-year lease. And their barbershop starts popping in 18 months. And their landlord comes around and sees all the cars in the parking lot. You're paying $2,000 a month. The landlord goes, man, I need $3,500 a month now. Then what are you going to do? You're going to go spend 70 grand to open another barbershop?
No.
So do you own the pole? Do you own the barber pole? And half of the time,
Chairs. You own the chairs. And the
I've seen barbers leave their shop with mirrors still hanging on the wall.
Wow.
So one of their ex-barbers could take over that barbershop.
You don't need to spend money on mirrors.
You touch a point. You're touching a point because
Hold on, Flaco, espérate. Hold on. No. It goes to, see? You're laughing because I already know you know what I'm saying. Right?
Why you gonna say?
So you just brought a great point, right? about these guys spending 150 grand on the barbershop
On another man's
Some
building.
of these,
And they
some
know
of these
the owner.
barbers
No.
don't even own the freaking building.
No
So
way.
This is a discussion that we
The
had. that I
people,
said
no,
that
but the
100
people we've been talking right here, he owned the building.
Oh, he owns the building.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Jeffrey owns his building.
99.9% of us don't.
And I love Jeffrey, and I told him, and I'll be real with you, and you could call him right now.
Yeah.
There was a point where Jeffrey almost couldn't get that building. It's a beautiful building. And I told him, bro, let me know if you need my help. I wanted him to get that building.
Yeah.
And I know Jeffrey's a hustler, and I've watched him come from a baseball jersey Dominican barbershop playing, you know, playing music loud, dembo. To a class. He went to Vegas. So I give Jeffrey my props. That, you know, he's been a big supporter of mine. But he called me, and the landlord was playing games. He almost didn't sell him that building.
Wow.
And I told him, bro, I got a loan officer for you. I offered to help. He ended up getting it. But that's how much I want barbers to have ownership.
Yeah, it's good because I mean that's true. That's a good point right there. Go
You know,
ahead.
actually, that's one of the reasons why I don't have a shop yet. Because I said if I don't own the building, I'm not gonna get it. Just because of the fact that you just mentioned, like you work so hard to build this business, and then somebody else wakes up one day that they don't want to renew your lease. Then you
Or
lose
they don't
everything
fix
you
the air
have worked for it.
conditioning, or they don't fix a
Some
leak.
of us get lucky.
Yeah.
Like I got a feeling lucky. Like I really got lucky.
And that's great. And I've
I got
seen
a 10-year lease with a
I've seen people get $700 a month, 1,200 square foot barbershop. Don't get me wrong. I've seen stuff like that, and that's cool. Ride it till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
But you know, to me, own the building, have apartments upstairs, and just get and you know,
going.
and keep going and keep
going.
and then
Franco, you got
refi.
something to say?
Yes, I have another question for you, sir. You know that most of the barbers, they always wonder about it because sometimes we don't have that thought in mind to decide something right away. Like when you want to open a business, like literally we just go in and see the spot and we see the place and we like the place and we just want to rent it out right away. But the thing is that sometimes we have to do sacrifice to see the winner. But my question is, what do you consider to all those barbers outside? They become like a mayor, like Jay Mayor. You are right now. I think you are in the level where all of the barbers they want to be standing for too. Like they wanna be a barber, but they also wanna grow. What would something that you could advise them to they
get
can
up there.
pursue their dream and it become reality? Because I know that many barbers out there, they looking all, they thinking that we're famous when maybe not, but we're trying to, you know, to reach that goal sometime.
Yeah.
But what will you can advise them to, they can inspire it, like something they can grab for you and knowledge that they can apply to them to they become better.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I can say is just get to work early, leave work late, save your money.
That's the key. That's the key.
I mean, like, this is the problem. This is not rocket science.
Yeah, it is. It's not.
This
it's
is not
It's not.
like if your barbershop opens at 9, you should be there at least at 8:30.
Yeah.
By 8:50, there's gonna be a guy in the parking lot
You're right.
that's gonna walk in, and then you charge him whatever you charge, $45. You've already made more than the next man that's came in, and then you turn him into a
Absolutely.
customer, and then save your money, work on your credit. Like, I have nice cars. I like the finer things
I
in
see
life.
Bentleys and stuff. You
But-
I mean,
yeah, but-
you get that because you work hard.
Well, no, I have assets that pay for that.
Yeah.
They pay for
See,
it.
a lot of people buy
need
the Mercedes and buy the BMW, and they live in an apartment. But if you own a multifamily house and you're living for free,
Yeah.
and your renter downstairs is paying your mortgage, then you could buy that car.
You mean they
that's-
barber have to invest
course,
their
bro.
money
Of course,
as long they be a barber because
they need to.
you
Bro.
know that we don't have retired. You said it
Yeah.
well,
already.
you said
We
it.
don't have retired, and it's
retirement.
in it,
Bro.
and it is
You
true.
gotta-
How many barbers you see have a GoFundMe
I don't think that.
after they die, or if they get into a car accident?
A lot of barbers. I
It's
saw.
so. But you drive a Mercedes.
Yeah.
You got a Cartier watch.
Yeah.
You got a Cuban. You got Cartiers.
They live in the movie.
You're Tony Montana.
You get into a car accident.
You don't
and your wife doesn't have $8,500 to cremate you.
That's
Oh,
crazy,
wow.
bro. That's crazy.
and that's what you
And,
see
and,
in the
and listen,
industry right now.
and I used to think like that. I remember living in an apartment with a Mercedes, and you have to crawl before you walk.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, like, there has to be a better way. The reason why some people that become so successful is, owning real estate, having multiple streams revenue. Like I said, product lines. If you're a barber, you should have everything revolving barbering, and then the real estate to do what you have to do.
How do you do? How do you become so successful?
My clients.
the clients.
You I hear
my
you say-
clients-
He said his clients, yeah.
How?
My clients gave me advice, and like one of my clients was a realtor, right?
Okay.
And I went to go buy my first house. And I had a Mercedes S550. I had 2 motorcycles, and they only approved me for $140,000.
That's crazy.
So because I wasn't paying my taxes properly, I was spending money on bullshit.
Yeah.
And my realtor said, "Bro, you got to start putting some money in the bank.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, you got to start putting your tips in the bank. Bro, you got to start doing it." And, all these barbers are claiming $30,000 a year,
Yeah.
and they're wondering
about
why
that
they're
all
not
the
getting
time.
approved for a
That
house.
right here a lot,
So
man.
many people coming here and sit there where you seated right now, and then say, "Look, I do 100,000 in a year." Yo, what do you report it? What do you want on it? Do you say that you report 100?
I already know that.
100,000.
What you got something to
Come
say?
on.
There's like 80% of the barbers in the industry, man, that don't file taxes.
Listen. I don't want to throw anyone on the bus because there's a lot of industries that people don't pay taxes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, cash is no longer king.
No.
If you go to a car dealership, unless it's a real shady car dealership with $20,000 cash, most people won't even sell you a car nowadays.
No.
Yeah.
Back in, it's not like it used to be.
So
No.
you have one more question, right? Go ahead.
So, just to piggyback of what you just mentioned, it's just like a lot of it's true. All that a lot of barbers say that, I make this amount of money. I was like, I don't want to see your booking. Show me your tax filing.
tax
Let me
filing,
see what
yeah.
you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's this. I feel like a lot of barbers out there just want to sell the movie, and actually instead of showing what real is outside.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not to mention, are you doing write-offs? We have a lot of things that are write-off.
Yep.
Every razor you buy is a write-off. Certain clothing you buy is a write-off.
Yeah.
Every their gas to and from work could be a write-off. You could have an office in your house to pay all your barbershop bills. A certain square footage of your house should be a write-off.
All right, I'm gonna give you this about, but I do it on Uber. This is what I'm gonna tell you when you're talking about write-off. I use YouTube Premium and I put music. When I'm gonna write off, I write off YouTube Music. I put it right there. I say I pay for a music
Entertainment.
entertainment, and I put it right there.
Yeah.
And I put the gas, I put whatever I get out there, and I spend money. I write it off. And
the thing, you don't
it's
get
supposed
the
to be in the
awareness.
barbershop like that.
But be careful how much you write off.
Oh yeah,
Exactly.
Also-
Because your debt to income ratio will not get you approved for a house.
yeah, also too.
Like
Also too.
I could tell you right now, like not to be and look, I come from nothing. I know that, but I could I could go to a bank and get approved for just about anything right now.
Yeah.
And to be in that and that's just by taking my finances serious. And like I said, I like a nice car. I like very nice cars.
Yeah.
But if I couldn't afford that, I wouldn't do it. Like if I didn't have other assets paying for it, I wouldn't dare do that. I would drive a hoopty till I had to.
So we can say that the Connecticut Barber Expo is over $1 million business that you have. Millions of dollars.
I don't want to talk about that, but I think altogether, you got to realize I got so many different. I have a
Yeah.
consulting business. I have that. It's
Oh, you have a consulting business?
yeah.
Okay.
That's why I've been consulting Babyless now with 10 years.
Okay.
I have a contract with them.
Oh wow, nice.
I have a real estate company. I have a real estate building company. I own a parking lot where we charge people for parking.
That's you
I
do
own-
invest your money.
I am every single show. I buy for the past 6 years. Every show I buy a new property.
Wow.
With the profits from the show, because shows might not last forever, but they're not making more land.
I mean, it's gonna last forever, bro. I mean, come on.
We'll see.
Look at what you're doing for the world.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
the world, the industry is growing a lot. Also,
Yeah.
all right.
It has
I'm
grown
gonna
a
ask you this question. It's like a personal question from me to you, like because I would ask it to me myself too. And in one point, I want to get over there too and ask this question. Somebody asked me this question. If your life was a documentary, how do you call it?
Oof. Live life major. Live life major.
So
That's yeah.
I have that
You gotta
in my
copyright
barber
that.
shop. I have the neon signs that say that because I believe every day we should live life major because
Yeah.
tomorrow's not promised.
Yeah, that's true. Tomorrow's
So
no promise.
what Jay Major said that the people that he got surrounded by made a big difference on what Jay Major is today.
100%. And the older I get, I'll be honest, there was a point where it was hard to work with me because I like things my way, you know. But yes, it is the people around. I've been learning to let go. You have to learn to let go. You know, coming from the streets, we don't trust many people. And trust me, it's backfired on me multiple times. My biggest problem as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure everyone can relate, is that I give more faith in people than they give in themselves.
Yeah.
You ever see a barber that's so talented, but he has a bad attitude? And I'm like, damn, this kid could be the next big
Seen
thing.
that many times.
But they're tripping over their own shoelaces every morning. And that's my biggest problem is that I give people more energy because, like, I'm 46 years old. And I'm 45. Next year I'll be 46. Soon. This month, actually. Yeah. But we're almost 40. I don't want to make myself older. But why do I go to the gym at 6:30 in the morning and my 21-year-old barber wakes up at 11
Wow.
and comes to work complaining there's no walk-ins? Like,
no walk-ins.
you should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah,
you should
that's
be running
true.
circles around me.
That's true. Omar, te tiene una pregunta. Sorry, Major. Tiene una pregunta. He got a question
You're gonna
in Spanish.
Yeah,
We're
that's
going to
okay.
translate it. So, Maris, tú le puedes hacer la
Sí.
pregunta.
Hi,
Congratulations for winning.
Hi guys, sí, yo tengo una pregunta. Obviamente, pues mi inglés es súper malo. Pero bueno, yo le quiero comentar a él que cuál ha sido la clave de tu éxito rotundo.
She's just saying like what was the key
Of
as
your
far as the success, like,
Successful overall.
overall.
Like I said, it's when it comes to success, like none of us know what our future is going to bring.
Yeah.
But I know if I work hard every single day and wake up and give it my all today, you know, some people say, "Oh, tomorrow we'll do that tomorrow."
Yeah.
I always tell my employees, "No, we're going to do it today."
Do it today.
So you're a man
Because you
doing it today.
never know what's going to happen tomorrow.
That's true.
Imagine I don't want to do a $2,000 task today, and I save it for a $2,000 task for today, for tomorrow, and a $20,000 opportunity comes up tomorrow. But because I didn't do what I did yesterday,
Yeah.
so I just, you know, to maybe translate to her, I work every single day like
single
day.
it's
No
my
matter
last day. No matter sick.
Él trabaja todo el tiempo como que es el último día. O sea, eres un hombre de hacer las cosas hoy, no mañana.
No mañana.
I do stuff today, not tomorrow. You know, because mañana
Tomorrow
yo no sé lo
another
que va a pasar.
opportunity might happen.
Tomorrow never may come, you know?
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Ahora yo quiero que él me hable acerca de las malas experiencias que ha tenido en la industria. Tell me about the bad
experiences in the
you have
industry
in
you
the
had.
industry.
Oof, man,
Tell me about
so many.
Give me a couple.
So many.
I know,
I've been barbering for
How
25
many
years.
barbers went to your shop, man? Look
Something
at
like
crazy,
that.
man. Tell me,
crazy
man.
things.
Let's hear the
I've
story.
had crazy stuff. I've had I've had fights in my barbershop. I've had to fight someone
you
in my
fight
bar-
against
I hit
with
some-
somebody?
Yeah, I hit someone.
So
You got that in your
the-
veins. I mean,
And the barber studio?
No, one of my I have a for 14 years I had a 22 chair barbershop. It was
Wow,
like the
22?
United 22
Full of
chair.
barbers?
Full of barbers at all times.
dealing with all those people.
It was like the United Nations. Dominican, Boricua, Panameñón, Chinese, Colombian.
way.
I had every race there, but this is what happened. Somebody really disrespected my barbershop.
Oh, wow.
And it was packed. It was a Saturday. There was church people there. And I know that I work with like 20 Latinos. If I let that guy disrespect me in front of
yeah.
them,
Oh,
they're not
yeah.
going to be paying rent.
Yeah.
And then they're going to call me pendejo. So
Yeah, that's true.
so the guy came towards me, and I swung at him, and I hit him with a cord and his master, and people's ladies.
That's a heavy
screaming.
clipper. You hit it with that.
But
meat.
but honestly, after that, my barbers were the best with me. Like they never. And listen, I don't condone violence, but he went to his hoodie like he had a gun or something.
Yeah. Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
And,
yourself,
and I had to protect my business.
that's
and,
You a hood dude, so
You
you
think
know.
you're gonna do
that's what it
something?
is.
and not to mention that, like he yelled at one of my employees, disrespected him on the phone, and said, "I'm coming there. I'm gonna come there." So we were a little, and I was shaking. I'm cutting somebody's hair. I was still behind the chair, and I'm not saying that to be like you have to defend your
Yeah,
business.
The adrenaline came in. And
If you're in the inner city, and we couldn't call 911, it happened so fast, you know. So I don't condone it. This was 12 years ago or whatever. You know, I could have gotten in some serious trouble.
Yeah.
What if he did have a gun on him?
Yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
definitely. You have another one, right? You said
So we have a barbershop 22 share.
22 cheers. Yeah.
So
Cheers, bro.
what is more, ¿cómo se dice? Rentable, profitable?
one more profit.
Like,
Yeah.
what's
Share
more,
or
what's
barber
more
studio?
profitable? Barber studio.
Well, now,
Barbershop.
so here's the thing, and a lot of people say, "Oh, look at him. He owns 3 barbershops. He's the man," but he has 4 chairs and 3 barbershops. So he has 12 barbers.
Right.
He has 3 rents,
3 rents.
3 toilet papers, 3 bathrooms, 3 sets of towels,
3 sets of cleaning.
3 sets of cleaning supplies.
Why you don't put it together?
So my thing is more roofs, more leaks. I'd rather put all my money underneath one building. And so I've had a guy that he wanted to compete with me so bad in Connecticut. Yo, I'm on my 6th location. Now he's got 1. Because he spent so much money on rent trying to compete with me.
Yeah.
When I had 22 people underneath one roof.
Yeah, but how would that work?
That's
for
good to
22
know.
people in one building. Like,
Bro, we
how
were
does that
so
work?
busy.
How do you deal with those?
Bro, I made more money off my vending machine selling Red
Now,
Bull.
Was there like more shops around that? Around the
There
city?
was, but if you build it, they will come. You know, I was very strict on no music with swears, no professionalism. We all dressed. We all had barber jackets that matched. We all had capes that matched. That's when you could do that. Now everybody wants to be cool, but
nobody
I
wants to
think
do
the
that.
barbering back in the early 2000s, in the 90s was more. We worked more together.
Professional.
There was more percentage barber shops. I was percentage at one point.
All right, I'm gonna ask you this other question before I take you to a topic that is gonna get the things hotter right here a little bit. So, for now, what is your major hungry for right now?
I don't know. I mean,
So
You think you're all set?
No, I don't think I'm ever all set. You know, I just want to work smarter, not harder. Like this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, I'm investing in a very, 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 very big real estate project right now. Like very, very, very like
nice.
building houses, 66 2-family duplexes. I'm in the
Nice.
process.
Oh, that's a big project.
Yeah,
right there.
this is the biggest thing. So I want to get into real estate development, building. That's my next goal.
So
this is
that means
scary.
you're gonna
So it's
quit
fair to
from
say
the
you're gonna-
from
you're
the
gonna-
No, I mean I'm gonna still do this for now, but that's my end goal.
yeah.
So this is the thing, right? We're in a society now where everybody's learning from YouTube. I can't learn from YouTube.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch your show on TV. I want to see you in person at least. You understand? That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do a Zoom call.
Yeah.
I believe that once we start taking away human interactions, we're losing society.
That's what I mean.
So what I'm trying to get at is like my trade show is great, and I'm gonna have faith that it's gonna keep growing. But a lot of people, do you stream? Can you stream your show live? I said, no, I don't stream. You got to come here.
Yeah.
I don't want to stream my show live.
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, oh, why can we go to your show? We can learn it on YouTube. Can you really? Like
You
like.
cannot ask questions to the
That's
YouTube
like-
video.
But this is my thing, right? I see grown ass barbers spend thousands of dollars on Super Bowl tickets to watch men in tights throw a football around.
Yeah.
But they don't want to go to a barber expo for $50.
That's true. Bro.
They got fantasy football. They, oh my God, look at LeBron. Oh, look at Messi. Look at Ronaldo. Like, and
And you pay 700,000.
$700 is cheap.
$700.
That's cheap. $700.
what does Ronaldo ever do for you?
For you? Yeah, that's the thing.
What did Big Papi do for you? I love you, Dominicans, but what did Papi do for
Yeah,
you?
that's
Makes you
true.
spend
That's
money.
I just don't see it. Like,
There's no overall benefit to it.
I don't mind you being a sports fan or whatever, or going to a game with your kids, cool. But when you're watching sports every weekend instead of going to a barber expo and you're gambling or I just don't get it. Like, I rather invest in me. Like them guys are making millions of dollars to throw a football around.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. And I see the same people talking shit about barber expos, but they go to the Celtics game and buy floor seats.
Believe me,
that's
things are about to change. Really good for barbering.
So when you mention all that, which is that this is one of the things I keep going to the Connecticut Barber Expo, and actually every expo that you involve into is because of education. I always see it this way that even though you know 75%, you have 75% of knowledge. If you learn 5% more, now you are 80. Yeah. This is how I see things. I always see it on a perspective. But what other classes or free courses people will get in the expo?
Oh, so that's a good question. Every year at my show, I do something for philanthropy to give back. Because at the end of the day, I think a lot of barbers are not realizing how important community is. Yeah. You know, the backpack giveaways, the stuff like a lot of these barbers. This year we have a company called Kiva out of Worcester, Massachusetts, which helps women that have been displaced from home, battered women, mental health, drug addiction people, that have trauma, awareness.
How you came out with that idea?
So it was brought to me by Barber Time, and I met with these ladies, Kiva. So basically what it is how many people in your chair have you cut hair for a wedding, but cut hair for a funeral?
Yeah, that's...
You get what I'm saying? Like, we cut people's hair during the most important moments or the most saddest moments of their lives.
Yeah, that's true.
I've had people in my chair, crying. Their wife left them. Or, they're going through a divorce. And we are the first line of therapy.
Yeah.
And not to mention the children that look up to us. How many people look up to you as barber?
It's like right now I have a 14-year-old kid that's going to high school.
Yeah.
He's coming to my shop Fridays and Saturdays. The kid can do a blowout.
Exactly.
He's 14.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So it's like...
We are supposed to be... Like, I wasn't as big as I was around the world till I was big in my neighborhood. And then I went into the next city and the next city, and then I tried to dominate my state. And then I tried... See, everybody's so busy trying to take over the world, but they can't even take over their 5-foot radius.
That's the
in the barbershop. And so this company, basically what we're doing is whoever signs up for this class, Sunday morning's full. We have a couple spots Sunday afternoon and Sunday. I will give you free tickets because you will get a certification. Now, you're not going to be a therapist, but they're going to give you a list. If you have someone that sits in your chair and he's getting bullied by gangs, you're going to have a phone number, a 1-800 number, and they could call and they could say, hey, this kid just sat on my chair. And it's our duty because we could stop. I mean, look at the guy that just got in a barbershop in Roxbury.
Yeah. I saw that one. It's really sad, but that's why we are the first line of defense. We're the first line of defense in therapy in that case, as you say.
But we're not therapists, so we have to be very careful. Yeah. But as long as we have the resources, and that's what I'm providing. We would give out Narcan for the past 3 years, the nasal spray for people that over. At one of the events, a barbershop messaged me that somebody overdosed in a back parking lot, and they Narcaned them, and they brought them back to life with the Narcan that they got at CT Barber Expo.
Wow, that's really nice.
So
that gotta make you feel good. You save a life.
100%, and these are the little things we do at the show that people don't realize. There's the autism haircuts for people that have. There's autism is growing. Yeah. They're saying now don't correct me if I'm wrong, but 1 out of every 6 boys are going to be born with some form of autism nowadays.
I have a boy with it. So I know what it is.
And they have sensory issues.
Yeah.
So now they're teaching autism classes, autism awareness, sensory safe awareness. Clipper companies are donating quieter clippers to provide these services. If we are pillars in our community, we can't be. Remember, I used to put kids in headlocks.
Yeah. Oh, I send a shout out to somebody that do that. With his clip, the new line of clip that he's gonna release, Pigmentos. This is a guy that he normally goes to your show to support your show a lot. He cut. Those autism kids, when he had quiet clippers to do that, that's the type of classes that everybody should be taking, because it's free, as he said, and also you're gonna give them tickets.
Yeah, I think they charge they charge for the autism class, but by the time I think it's like $100 or $125, but the ticket you get is to the education. It pays off. So you're getting in for free. So I donate all these people tickets. They get a room and they do a private class, and to me that's important. And then the people that you meet in that network. Yeah. And so there's a lot of other stuff.
Okay, let's say we have a few more questions before. Man, the time is flying.
I know.
Omar's got another question over there. Omar, tiene otra pregunta que Gucci le puede traducir por aquí o al Genis.
Okay, I have the question for you.
No problem.
Les es todo el inglés que sé. Bueno, no, yo lo que veo en este momento es un hombre muy fuerte, muy profesional, Y mi pregunta, desde que empezó la entrevista, es ¿qué es lo que te motivó a ti antes y qué es lo que te motiva a ti hoy, día a día, para poder lograr todo lo que tienes en este momento?
So she's saying that she sees a strong man, you know what I mean, and sitting here in the podcast. She's trying to say like what motivates you, like what motivated you before, and what keeps on motivating you today to keep on pushing.
Don't call it podcast. It's a show.
Yeah, no, right.
It's a show, bro.
You know, tell her thank you. I appreciate that. You know what there comes a point in your career where you have no choice but to keep going.
Yeah.
I have too many people depending on me from my house. You can start translating now because it's going to be long.
Yeah.
Él dice que hay mucha gente que dependen de él. So, esta es una industria que él tiene que seguir, que no puede parar.
Él
Nosotros tenemos
Él no tiene elección, tiene que seguir.
Yeah.
¿me entiendes?
If I stop CT Barber Expo, if I stop my drive, and there's thousands of brands that depend on those people to walk through that door and support them, if I stop, everyone loses. And that's a lot on my back.
Si él para de hacer lo que él está haciendo con lo que el Expo y todo lo que está haciendo, entonces mucha gente que depende de entonces él, como quien dice en pocas palabras, como que le está
Los
quedando mal.
defraudó.
Está quedando mal.
Muchas
Ok.
compañías que necesitan entrar por esa puerta
Yeah.
y que esas personas vayan, entonces todas esas personas dependen de él.
Ok, eso es ahora, pero ¿y antes?
What about before?
Siempre ha habido
Okay.
What
personas.
about before? Like,
Well, one thing. No, let me finish one more thing. Three. The haters.
The haters.
Los
You gotta do it for the haters.
Wow. you do it for the haters?
Why not?
Why not?
They want me. Yo.
shit, I know the haters, I ain't got-
So,
you know what I mean?
Jay Major had haters? Do you?
What?
We
What?
have a haters in Florida, you say?
No,
Bro, I
Vegas.
got haters.
No.
Tampa.
There's a podcast in Florida.
Yeah, he said it
Bro,
before,
fuck
but,
that,
you know.
them, and I'm not even worried. Sometimes it be your own people that say they're your friend.
Yeah.
A hater would drink poison and hope you die.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, like, and listen, I don't. But here's the deal. Like, there's a little bit of that. Like, I know they want me to fail. You think I'm gonna let them watch that happen?
No.
Like, I'm gonna give it my all, not to let them watch me fail.
Well, I see it like this.
I
man.
don't have that many haters that are doing better than me. I can tell you that much.
Well, I see it like this. I feel like you should, like, if you don't have you should be building to get more haters every single day.
Yeah, I don't want them.
'Cause that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want the haters.
Unfortunately, that's what it is, though.
No, I don't want them. I don't like. I wish I could get along with everyone. I feel bad for haters. Haters are very. It's a full-time job, bro.
Oh, yeah.
You're so busy. You're so busy hating on the next man that you ain't going nowhere.
that again. What is a hater?
A hater's a full-time job. It is. You gotta be miserable. Yo, imagine this. Imagine have a hater that's never met me.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Oh, that's
like,
insane.
how you hate somebody that you don't even know?
Yeah, that's
Listen,
deep right there.
never
That's,
meet-
You could dislike their man. You could like there's some people that I don't like the way they act. Like, I don't like Tekashi 6ix9ine,
yeah.
but I respect the amount of money he's made. Like, he's a hustling little mother. Like, I don't respect him. He's a rat. He's this, that, whatever.
Man,
But how can I hate him? I don't know him.
I have that question in my mind though every day though. I say, oh my God, how will you hate somebody
That you don't know.
because
You don't
you don't
know.
know. You don't meet, and you don't
Listen,
know that person.
people hate on you just because
What?
of the way that you're doing at the moment. Maybe because of the way your hair fucking looks.
Yeah.
Like, haters just built to hate.
Yeah,
all right.
and that's
I
cool.
get it.
They have a job too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I
their
said,
full-time.
I haven't met so many haters
Full-time
that
job.
haters that are doing better
Wake
than
up
me.
in the morning,
Yeah.
hating the next man
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he made $1,000 more
Yeah,
than
that's
you
crazy.
did.
That's
kinda
insane.
like,
That's
you know
insane.
what I mean?
All right.
I want to learn from
That's
people.
Yeah,
that
I
do
want to
that.
learn from
sad.
people like that, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna get you to the hard part of this. I mean, I don't know if you've been aware of what is going, but it's been going on like for 1 month, maybe two. Victorino Jose from Spain.
Yeah.
They're talking about the best barbers in the world. They are Puerto Ricans. They are whatever. What you have to say about that? Because I see me personally, I see you as one of the, let's say, how you say pillars? One of the pillars of the industry.
pillar, yeah.
That's what you say. That's what you say.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
get off
Yeah,
sometimes.
you're pulling out the good English today, bro.
The good one.
Just said it, bro.
So I see you as one of the biggest pillars on the industry, and I don't see you on social media talking about that type of stuff. But I have, you know,
The
I'm gonna be
bochinche,
brave.
the
Bochinche, yeah.
Yeah, the bochinche. Yeah, I'm gonna be brave. I'm gonna ask you what you think about that. What you say?
I think. Listen, Vitorino's a showman.
Yes.
Hey,
yeah.
yo.
You know what I'm saying? And he's very talented, and he's got his own stilo.
Yeah.
You know, like.
You think
like-
he needed some time? He needed to do that?
No, I mean, listen. I like that. I like the guy in Spain. He's very talented
Yeah,
too.
Jose too, right?
He's very talented. I've been to shows in Spain as well. I haven't met Jose. What I think is fun. It's going viral. It's spreading more awareness. Now I got other podcasters talking about it. That dude, the what's his name? The reggaeton podcaster guy that he got the argument with. It was Cállate.
Oh yeah, that one. Oh, Molusco.
Yeah, Molusco.
Yeah.
I think that's dope. I think they should compete.
Chente, Molusco, yeah.
Yeah,
I think so. You think that's good for the industry?
I mean,
That's the question that I want to get out there.
it all depends on how it ends. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think it's like, so for instance, like, I don't see anything that turns to violence or as long as people aren't talking about it's healthy competition.
All right. So I'm gonna do it myself. I don't know. You're not gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. Jose Victorino, the best place for you guys to talk about who's the best is the Barber Expo.
Yeah, no, I told that.
Yeah,
I would put them. I said
you would put them.
I would put them. I would stop one of the competitions and have them compete on the stage.
Ya lo saben.
Okay.
Lo vamos a meter ya en el Expo. Victorino. ¿Y cómo se llama el otro?
Victorino Jose.
It's showtime.
Showtime.
Let's do a showtime. Lo vamos a meter en el Expo. Vamos para esa vaina con todo. Y te vamos a meter.
So, Jay Mayer's being a man that has traveled all over the world and have seen all type of barbers and all type of styles. What you consider is the country that has the best barbers for you, in your opinion?
That I've experienced, and I'm being real with you. Like, I've been to Moscow, like Russia. They're different styles, but there was a competition the second year in Santiago, Chile, that I helped host an MC. I've never seen that many haircuts in every category. Like, you know, you have first, second, third place.
Yeah.
There would have been first to 22nd place.
Jesus.
Out of 25, the judges were going crazy. The haircuts were so good in every category. I'd never seen talent like that than in Santiago, Chile. And they're only getting, like, some of them guys are getting $12, $13 a haircut.
And that was no enhancements. That was just straight cut.
Some enhancements, some without. But when I tell you the scissor work, the fading, the blending, you got to realize when you're in certain countries and they don't have the opportunities that we have.
So they go harder for it.
And they're so passionate. Because, you know, listen, we're blessed here in the U.S. A lot of countries want to be like, as much as they want to say it, they want to be like us.
Yeah.
They want to get, there's been mass, you know, importation and deportation now. People are why are they trying to come here? They want the American dream.
Yeah, the American dream.
But the problem is, in certain societies, in America, we live to work. In other countries, they work to live.
Work to live, that's true.
So, you know, they're very passionate. And like, there's people crying on stage when they lost.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest with you, the nicest haircuts I've ever seen I've witnessed in my life was in Chile. And they've been winning. They've been coming to fly into Connecticut and winning competitions every year, like 3 years in a row. Really? Somebody from Chile has placed.
One guy in Chile, John Style. You know,
Yeah, John's nice. Yeah. Bro, there's guys in Chile that got 200 followers that cut hair in a little shack that are nasty. You wouldn't even know them.
Well, we've been talking before about, you know, the enhancements and the beard, but Joan right here has some type of information that I don't know. I know it's true because somebody tells me, but Joan, what is going on?
Atención los tigres de Santo Domingo, se lo voy a decir en español para que me capten. Están viendo ese hombre allá que tiene una barba ready, pero tengo una información de que están usando el tinte de limpiar zapatos.
¿Cómo así?
Para ponérselo en la barba a los tigres.
Ahora son limpiabotas los barberos ahora.
Ahora son limpiabotas.
The quick.
You know what
They're using the shoe polish.
I know. You said that's crazy.
Coño, loco.
¿Cómo así?
I bet you that it lasts like 5 days, probably.
Lo están
Damn.
haciendo quedar mal, man.
Can we show a video of this when we edit it?
Oh, yeah.
Probably, yeah, for sure.
Okay.
Los tigres de América le están llegando ya a ustedes. Compren su tinte, ahorren 100 pesos y manguen eso. Dejen de estar pasando vergüenza ya para que
Joan.
se modernice.
Joan, Con el vaina de limpiar la
De
olla.
limpiar
Le están
zapatos.
dando con la vaina
Diablo,
con la
abusa.
tinta de limpiar zapatos. Tan creativos los tigres.
All right, guys. So let's keep going. We got 5 more minutes, and we're gonna finish this nice interview. I don't want to finish, but time is money, as he says. It's a man of business,
And he's hungry. He's
and we
hungry,
wanna start
Starving.
start asking questions for those people out there that dreaming to be a good barber, famous barber, to have a family, to have the houses, as a barber, because you can as a barber. You just need to start educating yourself. You have a good source of education on the CT Expo, so that's what we want to bring out there. And first of all, I want to ask you this: what do you advise to those barbers that just came in, they don't have no license, they don't have
Rookies.
nothing, and they just working for money?
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of us started that way. Even me, I started without a license.
Yeah. We start like that.
I mean, like I said, the more you start treating this like a business, not a hustle, the more you start treating this like a career, the more you get focused. I mean, it's very, you have to be present. You have to be present. You have to be at the shop constantly. And once you build enough clientele, then you could start taking days off. But I see these barbers like, I don't work Tuesdays and Wednesdays.
Yeah.
Or like, you just started. Like, you never know who's going to walk in that door. There's been opportunities where people walk in, just will walk into your shop. I was in a strip mall with that 22-chair barber shop. And, there would be people that would go to the Subway to get a sandwich next door and walk in, and they'd be $100 client in 2005. So you got to be there, be present, bust your ass, save your money, like any profession. But like I said, don't complicate it,
So one more thing, it's like, what do you think the Barber Expo is bringing to the industry? Because I seen barbers going over there and they just get to next level. What do you think is the main thing that they, besides the the knowledge, because that's pretty much the important thing about that. But what do you think they use acquire that right there, that when they start going to the Expo, they just came with, I can say it's renovated, because they start getting more into this. They get more love for what it is.
Well, so the barber that's just coming here, like that's just getting into the industry in school, should be inspired, right?
Yeah.
That's not for everyone. Say, it's for the new barber. It's not. It's for the barber that's been cutting 20 years, 16 years, sick of their clients every day. They haven't remodeled their barber shop. I could know barbers that didn't even know that there's cordless clippers right now.
Yeah. I mean,
There's barbers that don't even know that there's cordless clippers. Or they say, oh man, I use the Oster 76s because they're stronger. They don't understand. There's still barbers that will not use a cordless clipper. They rather have the tangled wires. But what I'm trying to get at is,
that's true.
There's barbers. Sometimes it's not for the younger barber that's just coming here. It's for the guy that
close-minded.
Not even that. He's been working for 20 years in the same barber shop. His barbers, some guys are late for rent all the time. This guy's always fighting with his baby mama.
Yeah.
This guy's on.
Oh my goodness.
This guy's on. This guy's on Petco in the bathroom.
That's crazy, bro.
Listen, am I right? And then he goes to the Barber Expo.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he sees a furniture company with an LED mirror. Oh wow, that would look nice in my barber shop.
Yeah.
He sees a guy that just taught a class that has 30 locations, and that I've seen barbers get inspired. That the guy that made me become a barber, I've seen him come to my show, and his shop still looked the same from when I got a haircut when I was 15 years old.
Wow.
Come to my show, buy a building, remodel his shop, build suites, and has like 17 people there, and he couldn't hire one barber because they would be drinking Hennessy in the shop.
Wow,
they would be. He was in the hood. He got out of the hood, and he said, "Bro, your show changed my mindset. It gave me a new battery in my back for barbering."
Yeah.
So you ever go to church and you feel like someone's talking to you?
Oh yeah.
Look, the Bible was written how many thousands of years ago, and you could talk about the Bible today, and it's still talking about
you.
We're in one of the oldest professions in the world.
Yeah. Yes.
So, like, when you go to this Barber Expo with an open mind and you really listen and you network and you get some phone numbers with people, and you could expand your horizons and you could build as a human, as a barber. But some of these barbers leave school. They never open a book since they left school.
Yeah, that's true, because normally they think they only go to the Barber Expo used to watch the battles or used to buy new products.
Yeah, exactly.
And they don't know about the education that you have over there. That's why we want to bring that out
I
there.
got a guy right now in my shop. I'm trying to like get him to go. I'm like, yo, you need to go.
And shop
I'm
owners,
gonna go on Sundays, buy some clippers. You know what I mean?
if
Gotta
you
get the
buy
experience.
tickets for all your barbers, it's 100% tax write-off
Write-off,
for
yeah.
continued
You see?
education.
Ah.
100%.
But you
Yeah.
know,
It is,
you know
you
what is
see
even
that.
But it's
crazier?
hard. But it's hard when you
I have a
got
friend.
some barbers that don't appreciate when you do for them, man.
And
it
guess
sucks,
what?
bro.
Let me tell you that
And they take it
But
and
hey,
do
check this out. The barber that you're talking about that doesn't want to go to the show. How's his lifestyle?
It's, oh, just like the way you say.
How's his life?
Poor it. Maybe
he got
poor
the,
it.
he got the Cubans, the you know what I mean, the flashy car. He got all that shit, but he don't own a crib.
Well, maybe
he
I'm
don't
poor.
do none of that.
I'm poor life.
But he just doesn't
Drop
have-
his baby mama off in her Honda Accord at Bank of America. You know, everybody's a boss when they rent a chair from you. I'm self-made. I'm a boss.
Oh, yeah.
But then they come to my office. Hey, Jay, I want to buy a new Nissan Altima, but they won't give me a loan because I don't pay taxes. Can you write a letter?
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second.
Crazy, bro.
Oh, it
That's
says
crazy.
self-made on your Instagram.
Yeah.
You're a boss, but you
Yeah.
can't get approved for a 2019 Altima?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's insane.
Don't act like you're a boss to me without the credentials.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Don't act like the boss, because a lot of these barbers are saying that they're self-made, that they're a boss. Oh, I make $2,000 a week, and you can't get approved for a Honda Accord. Or oh, can you write this letter for childcare and for Section 8? No,
That's
Yeah, I ain't doing that.
I'm not writing a letter for your Section 8 if you're making $2,500 a week.
Multiple
no.
barbers asking
Hell
that
no.
question, man.
No,
I don't
I'm
do
not
that.
doing it.
Dale ahí, Génica. Gente tiene una preguntita por ahí para ir cerrando ya, señores, casi. Dale ahí. We almost closing.
Normally, how long does it takes to the Barber Expo? I know you have the Grammys. Are you gonna keep those Grammy going for a long time?
I don't know. I say every year I'm gonna quit, but I really feel like
That's what you said 2 years ago.
I know, man, but I don't want to do this any. Like the Grammys are harder to organize than my entire show.
Damn.
Wow.
The Grammys.
I
And,
like the Grammys.
and I want to let you barbers
People
know
love
this. I don't care who wins. I just hope whoever deserves to win wins.
Yeah.
I don't care. You can't give me $20,000, $50,000 to win a trophy. People think like, oh, it's rigged. I don't care if Pito the barber from Rhode Island wins or not. If you got the votes and you won, God bless you.
That's it.
I don't understand.
This is not about money. This is what we want to show out there. The people grab something from the Expo Barber.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
mean that the
But
money.
people think that like you can't buy like
A trophy.
You can't buy a trophy. I don't
Nah.
care.
Nah,
You have to put in the work.
And the
I don't care. Like nobody is more important in that expo than my reputation.
Yeah.
And the second someone could buy a trophy from me, everything I've done has failed.
So that means the Grammys are putting a lot of pressure on you then?
Oof. Bro, people DMing me in the middle of the night. Oh, this, that, how many? And let me tell you something. A lot of you barbers out there that got 100,000 followers, when we open the back of the computer, you got 11 votes.
Oh my
Wow.
God. You see what I say over
Yeah,
here?
like you just
see what
because
I
you got
say?
followers doesn't mean you have real
You
supporters.
see what I say
Yes,
every time over here in
100%.
this show?
Good follower.
I say every time in this show that doesn't matter how many followers you have. Doesn't matter how many people you have in Instagram, in
Yeah,
Facebook,
that's
and
good.
TikTok. This is not what I make you go to the move to the next level. What I'm gonna make you go move to the next level is to you focus on what you're doing. It doesn't matter if he's doing well, I'm doing bad. Doesn't matter if you are a good barber, I'm not a good barber, but I'm here every day trying not to do the best I can. And then let me see this before I go more beyond that. What you say earlier, I was listening. There are many barbers out there, they just have a old clipper, they have old technique, they don't want to get an upgrade, they don't want to move to the next level. What I mean, in fact, the Expo Barber Show is bringing to all of these barbers that they looking at us right now, that they watching this show right now, that you have to invest in education. And the Expo Barber, this man right here that we have right now, is showing off you that you have to go and see what they had there.
Yeah.
What
platform.
can inspire you to do something better in this industry?
I mean, I could tell you that there's some barbers that I'm looking here. They get $7,000 a day to be at a hair show.
A day.
So if you do a Sunday, Monday hair show, you're making $14,000.
Wow.
But check this out. the bigger companies pay for your travel days too. So if your day rate's $7,000 and you're flying from DR for 3 hours to New York and then driving, you get $1,500 because you get half your day rate for travel.
Yeah.
So you talk all this stuff about the guy that's on the stage teaching. Oh, I could cut better than him. That guy made $13,000 to be at my expo.
That's it.
13,000. So there's so much more money to be made in this.
How did he become like what did he do to like become that?
You built the following. You work on yourself. You take public speaking class.
Work on your image.
Yeah,
Based
I
on yourself.
yeah, and listen, some of this is hype. Some of these people got a lot of followers because they're cool, because they dress nice.
But how do you could attract all of those audience, all of those people that they can see something in you? They could be okay. I would like to go. What would you inspire them to can come to the show?
I mean, if I can't inspire the uninspired, you know,
man.
I need people
That's a
I need people like you to say, you know, like you. You said, how long you been coming to my show for?
Ooh,
You won't miss it.
Yeah, he won't miss it.
He
Yeah.
doesn't miss my show.
Yeah.
And how long have you been barbering now?
like 9 years.
9 years. So since I probably went to your
Got out of
school.
barber school,
Did I go to
yeah.
your school or no? Did I ever visit your school? When you
No,
were in?
I don't.
Okay.
Well, have you been to Malden? When I was in there, I did in Malden.
I've-
Hair Academy.
I've been there, but
Yeah,
I haven't.
I was out when you went.
Well,
there.
what I could tell you is that I got this man fresh out of school, and he became a believer.
Yeah.
He became a believer in my show.
Yeah.
And you know, you could go there with a closed mind, but the close-minded I haven't met too many successful close-minded barbers.
That's true.
And also, what's your level of success? Hey, your level of success might be level of like. So, for instance, I don't want a boat, I want a yacht.
Yeah.
But I don't want to drive the yacht. I want to pay a captain. That's my dreams. Your dream could be a little fishing boat.
Yeah.
I can't knock that. I want a yacht.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have a yacht. Remember this. I'm gonna
wish to.
Yeah, FaceTime.
I
you
wish
guys.
to.
Yeah.
But
Invite me to. I couldn't be
I
there
have
to on that.
two more questions before we're gonna need to finish right here because we almost been almost 1 hour and a half.
Okay.
What do you think is the future of barbering? No.
you know, I don't know. I think unfortunately, if us people that have been here for a long time don't train the younger guys on customer service and how to treat. See, I think people are getting away from the experience and focusing more on
Service.
2.5 hour haircut to take a nice Instagram picture to have A-Rod like his photo rather than listening to your client,
Talk.
building a rapport with your client. I believe that if the customer service does, you hear that on these podcasts.
Yeah.
Rappers are saying, "Oh, these barbers get a ring light and they're charging $500 for haircuts."
Yeah.
I think you could charge whatever you want for a haircut if you're providing a service. When you go to Louis Vuitton, they give you a free water.
That's what I say.
They sit down. Louis Vuitton never goes on sale. And the Louis Vuitton uses the same leather that Coach uses.
Yeah.
But Coach goes on sale. Coach is at TJ Maxx.
Yeah. Yeah.
You understand?
That's true.
So
there's levels.
when you graduate school, you get a piece of paper. And it's your choice on where you hang that piece of paper. When you graduate barber school, so you could be a Walmart barber or you could be a Saks Fifth Avenue barber.
Yeah.
But Saks Fifth Avenue gives you an experience. Walmart gives you rollbacks.
That what I mean is many people out there, they looking for a service, not for a haircut. It's more people that like a service more than a haircut.
Yeah.
Because
and shout
I
out to the
can
lady
I mean-
barbers. The ladies.
Yeah.
Because lady barbers, if a lady barber says, "Hey, man, you should do this," their guy's gonna be like, "Do it."
Yeah.
If a guy tells you, "Hey, man, I don't know,"
Nah, you don't wanna do it.
man, he's a hater. So shout out to the lady barbers.
That's what I'm saying. One more question before we start closing.
We said this every time. One more
One
more question before we close.
said two.
One more
I said
question.
I said two. There is
One
one
more
more.
question before we leave.
It is for you. Again, a personal one for you because I want to see. When I'm talking to you, I want to see a mirror. I want to have the chance to, I never been in jail, before. But I want
And listen, I'm not proud of that. I mean, honestly,
proud of that. Yeah,
it made me the man I am today,
Yeah,
and I can't never change my story.
Yeah.
See, that's the problem. I'm saying, "Oh, why does he talk about?" That's my story.
Yeah, it's your story.
That's my story. And guess what? There's a barber that's coming out of jail next week that might see this podcast
see?
and say, "Man, if Jay Majors did it,
Yeah.
if Jay Majors did it, I could do it."
Completely
that's
shocked her mind.
That's literally my question going that line too. If you could go back and say something to the J Major of 20 years old, what would you say to him?
He wouldn't listen. He wouldn't listen.
Why?
Like, I mean, I have a lot of people try giving me advice when I was younger. You know, like 20 years ago, I was just starting, you know, really embarking on this barbering career. You know what? Like, here's the deal. Every choice that I made in life brought me here, where I'm at today, to this success. So you have to learn. I think some of us learn from our pain.
Mistake,
Yeah.
I think we had to make mistake to we step up the step
100%. I think you learn more from your mistakes than from your wins.
from your win.
And the goal is not to go back.
Yep.
Is not to go back.
You gotta fail in order to.
So
to be
You
successful.
you know I've had it all. I've lost it all, and now I have it all again legally and did it the right way. I don't want to go back there.
You never have a fail to fail.
You fight back for it. So
Never have a fail to fail.
Yeah.
No. You never be
Never
afraid to fail. That's always you're gonna
have
need
to fail.
to
You
learn
have
from your
to fail
failures.
in life.
So people, I'm gonna be closing the show, and I'm gonna let the guys say something to the people, whatever and or at least we can. I wish we could have more time to talk with this.
This is
giant
gonna be like 3 episodes, right?
industry. Nah, it's
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it. They watch it.
Do it in Spanish. Do a plug.
Yeah,
May
I'm
17th to
gonna-
19th.
I'm
blah
gonna
blah
do,
blah.
I'm gonna do the
Translate.
the announcement
The
right here.
title.
El Barber Expo es el 17, 18 y 19 de mayo.
Siendo el 17 el Grammy.
El
Hay
Grammy,
premios
los
también,
Barber
hay
Grammy,
premios también,
sí.
eso no lo hablamos, hay
Los
premios
Grammys.
también. Tiene que decir lo que hay premios
Sí, los Barber Grammys. Que son los Barber Grammy, they have ellos tienen $5,000 cash prize. You have
For the
For the winner.
So that's for trenzas in here, for braids and haircuts. So we want to bring the braiders.
Haircut that we
Para
want.
los braiders y los haircuts le van $5,000 al primer lugar. So, así que estén atentos, señores. porque
5,000
miren, hay dinero de por medio. So,
Esa es el lunes, ¿verdad?
no, that's
What
the
day?
18.
5,000 Dominican, no.
5,000 Dominican.
No, I'm joking.
When is the Grammy day?
Yeah,
El
17.
sábado.
17. And when is the
Sábado gigante.
And one, el 18.
18, 18.
All right.
Sí, pero también tienen que recordarles que no solamente es un expo.
Yeah.
Hay educación.
There's education.
¿Tú me entiendes?
Yeah.
After party.
Education,
After
party.
After party Sunday night.
We're
yeah.
gonna be
What
lit
DJ
in
gonna
there.
freaking
So
bring in
after the
this
Grammy, there's a
time?
I don't know yet. We're
I
gonna
get
let
a
you
lot
know.
of complaints, man.
What?
Yo,
For the after party DJ?
for the after party.
He's
man.
nasty.
Yo, man, yo, last time we
He's
went,
a
everybody
DJ.
complained. I'm a DJ, that's why.
I never
A
heard
lot of
that.
people complaining. Yo, cutting the music off. What's
Oh,
going
the
on,
music.
man?
I don't know, man.
What kind of music you want, though?
Bring me a DJ.
I might be, hey, I
Una
am
cosa
DJ
que quisiera
Oh, here we go.
I am a DJ nightclub.
All right, we talk.
Una cosa que quisiera mencionarle, mi gente, sobre el Expo, aquí no solo es para que vean de que a su barbero favorito. Aquí pueden tomar el tiempo y preguntarle a ese barbero lo que él hace, cómo pueden ustedes mejorar y qué lo llevaría a ser lo que ellos son hoy en día. Porque mucha gente se ha enfocado en solo ver lo que ya el resultado final, pero no cuál es el proceso.
Yeah,
No somos tener la oportunidad de que tirarse fotos, nos pregunten, que esta es una oportunidad que muchas personas toman for granted, la palabra en español se me fue, y no toman el beneficio de lo que es tener tanta gente junta, importante, a la cual le pueden preguntar tantas preguntas por tan solo $50. Mi gente, pónganse en eso.
Perfecto.
Y que también las experiencias que tú tienes en la vida es como tú también leer un libro.
Ya.
También te abre la mente.
Te abre
Pues
la
sí,
mente.
ahí
Tú vas
mismo
y
vamos.
ves el tipo de cosas que ellos han podido lograr y todo ese venue grandote, así que tú lo puedes también hacer, tú lo puedes lograr.
Vamos entonces a dejar Flaco, despídete a la gente, vamos a empezar a despedir el programa. We're going to start, saying bye to the people. Flaco, we start
Thank you so much, everybody, for follow this show, everybody for support this show. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for all of the show love that you showed to us. And remember, you have to visit Barber Expo on May 18, May 17.
And 19.
You're never going to be regarded, okay?
Perfect.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Argenis, say
Bueno.
bye to your people right there
Oh,
too.
my people, thank you very much for being watching.
We're happy to have you around here again, you know that?
episode. I have to say, I have got to give the flowers to Jay Mayers. I really admire you. Keep doing what you're doing, because not only me, you inspire a lot of people to do
Thank
better. You are a role model. I do look up to you to do a lot of things. In the future, I might have conversations, and you might guide me. But
I always answer you, bro.
yeah, you do. I have your phone number too.
Yeah, I always
So,
try
you
to
know, it's
answer.
just like
I believe when you don't answer people is a form of disrespect.
Oh, it is.
and I really appreciate
It
what
is.
you have done. Thank you very much.
Rai,
No,
what
I
you
just
want for
wanna-
your people?
I just want to say thank you people for watching. Thank you, Jay Mayer, for coming here. And there's a lot of bless for everybody. The people from Colombia, Venezuela, everywhere. The people watching, bless.
Gucci, ¿qué tú tienes para decirle a tu gente?
No, a la gente, gracias por seguirnos aquí. Thank you for following. Big ups to Jay Majors, man. I've been going to the expo. This is my third year. It's my fourth year. Oh, no, it's my fourth year, actually.
The fourth year.
For years, I always wanted to go. And there was always, am I going, am I not going? But this time, the first time that I went, it just blew my mind, man. It opened my mental and then inspired me a lot. So, man, big ups to you and the CT Expo. The 17, 18, and 19.
There we go.
Mohegan Sun.
There we go.
CT Expo.
What you got?
Arranquen para allá.
Hey, vamos a estar ahí también.
Shining. Yeah, we're gonna be. there. We're gonna be
Y
there.
vamos a estar allá en el CT.
We're gonna be there. Yeah.
You're gonna be
Ya tú
there.
supiste.
We're gonna be there. What you got to say, Shining Man, to your people? ¿Qué te le dices a tu gente?
¿Cómo tú quieres que le despida? ¿Inglés, español?
Shining Man.
Español.
Español.
Sí.
Yo, why do you call him Simon?
Muchas gracias por estar en sintonía siempre con nosotros. Esta es una prueba más de que todo se puede en la vida. Nunca digas que no puedes. Y si cuando piensas que no puedes, mira esta entrevista o si no, busca el perfil de este caballero acá. Bendiciones para todos.
Amén. Omaris, igual que tú, ¿qué tú tienes para decirle a tu gente?
Bueno, no, muchísimas gracias en serio a todo el apoyo. Estamos muy contentos. Yo estoy muy feliz con esa oportunidad de conocer un personaje tan fuerte, que es demasiado teso y muy profesional. Entonces, espero que esa entrevista les ayude muchísimo y nada, mejoremos cada día más y nos vemos en el CT Barber Expo.
There you go. And from my side, I'm going to say thank you to Jay Major for accepting the invitation to the show. And at the same time, he drive all the way here. That we respect that,
Speaks a lot, man.
Respect, because this is a man that you see the category of this man. And we've been talking to people to come here to the show.
Yeah.
One of them want us to pay him $8,000.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I respect that. This is your job. That's how you do it. But the thing is, we're doing this for the industry, pretty much. We don't have a sponsor. We don't have nobody. Sometimes we have people that come by, and sponsor a video, whatever. But we do it for the industry, pretty much. And that you accept this invitation, everybody was hype. Even the studio, everybody on the back, because that's a respect. And what
I've been watching you grow, and I'm big on consistency.
Yeah.
So that's why I told you I don't want to ever see you guys give up.
Yeah.
Because if you just keep going and keep dropping content, it's only a matter of time. You have to make the world respect you.
Yeah.
You have to earn respect nowadays, and all it takes is the right video to go viral or the right supporters.
Yeah.
And if you do come to CT Barber Expo and you see these guys, get an interview. They have a booth there, and if you have a product line, you want to sponsor a couple episodes, help them keep this going, because
that's good. We appreciate that. I'm gonna say, please subscribe to the channel and support the Barber Expo. And right now we're gonna let Jay Major to say bye to you. As always, we say to the guest that he say bye to you and tell the people just to how you feel right here when you come in here and you sit on that chair.
No, first and foremost, thank you guys. It's a beautiful studio. You guys did a great job here. The professionalism. I'm here because like I said, Massachusetts is a big supporter of mine. The Latino community in general, as far as the competitions go, very passionate people when it comes to the beauty industry, and I'm just here to support and to, show you guys some love and hopefully drop some jewels, and to everybody that's watching, I would love to see you guys May 17th to the 19th. This year I got a lot of different tricks up my sleeve, but without my support, there is no show. Yeah. So tell a friend, bring a friend, man, come support.
Let it go. Jay Majors, people. Thank you.